finally, we've arrived at our main topic, a look back, a retrospective at the Battlefield 2042 version of Portal, or Portal 2042. So we have several subjects about the 2042 Portal that we're going to discuss, and I wanted to start with the Portal Builder website itself. When 2042 came out, alongside it launched a website in which you could build your game modes for Portal. Andy, how did that resonate with you? Did you like it? Did it click with you from the start?
Yeah, it really clicked for me from the start because it gave you the flexibility of if you weren't bothered about the programming side, if you just wanted to have your own, say as if conquest with 48 vehicles all fighting one another, you could do that. Set the ticket amounts, you friendly fire the rest of it. You had access to that. But then if you wanted to go a bit more in depth, then you had access to the editor. And I mean, I wasn't really big in the programming space to begin with, so with it being sort of all blocks to begin with, that was great for me to kind of pick up and start learning and using it. So yeah, it was very pick up and play for me.
Yeah, same here. The easy drag and drop setup runs in a browser, no extra tools needed, and enough power at the palm of your hands, just clicking stuff. For me as a casual player, yeah, it really clicked for me as well. How about you, Pete?
Yeah. No, I was going to say that for me, it's always been. It clicked with me immediately, but I always got to thinking that it bridges that gap almost between beginners and people who want to explore it a little bit more. And that's the tricky bit, isn't it? Really, because we've had servers in the past, and players can set up their own server and customize it how they want, and it was really keeping that side of things for those players that only want to do that, but then allowing people to push the boundaries of that and add more. And I think they did a really good job in that first iteration, kind of bridging that gap. It did. I did feel it had some weaknesses, but for example, having to go to a website to do some of that. But there were some options built into the game, so it was a really good introduction to the whole tool set. Yeah, not everybody wants to fully customize an experience. They just, like you said, Andy, they just want to kind of maybe boot up a conquest map on this mode or whatever it is with, conquest with this map, and then chuck, 20 tanks on the map or whatever it might be. And I think it does a good job making that pretty easy for people to do. So yeah, really good. And the blocks, of course, were a really good thing as well, because it does help people who aren't necessarily strong coders kind of do little scripts to customize their game mods as well. So the blocks are helpful, especially to begin with.
Indeed. Mata, how was it for you in those early Portal days? Liking the website?
Yeah, at least I could do some stuff not easy, but I could do some stuff looking at guides like you did, Pete. So it's a nice introduction to code, I guess, but I couldn't really take the time to really learn it. So, but I could at least help Ozzy, for example, getting the locations of the flags, all that kind of stuff. I could easily go in the blocks and visually see where it is in the code, basically, and yeah, making some change. So that was my experience with it, and I think it's very good for new people and noobs like me.
Yeah, and noobs like me. I mean, I'm a history teacher. I have no experience in coding, and one of the advantages of being a teacher is a long summer vacation. So the summer after Portal came out, I went all in, and really learned the basics of coding. Not really, but the logic behind it. And well, I think it was a great move on their part, using the Blockly element, so I could just drag and drop and try stuff out. So yeah, good on them. But for some limitations, however, anything you guys feel now looking back, particularly about the builder website, that you're hoping for something else?
I had a huge list of things that were quite limiting with this, and actually, there's so many they all fell out of my head. But I mean, obviously, we know that there's going to be changes to some of these things in the blocks for coding. While they are great for beginners, and we do start to get into a bit of a niche, I think, with people, where we start to say, well, people want to write their own little programs, but it gets unmanageable when your experiences get really, really big. So whilst the blocks are great, and most of the mods that we've done have managed to fit in those blocks, I think they were a limiting factor. But of course, there was a ton of features. I'm trying to think. You were talking about your gun royale mode.
Yeah, Gunfight Royale.
Yeah, and there was so many things that we just didn't have access to. So as a simple example, attachments on weapons. You couldn't decide. So if you wanted to do a true gun roulette or gunfight royale game, you would have built a weapon up from attachments, but they weren't available. We had very little control over AI, so we wanted them to do anything useful at all. And I think we may have had conversations on the Discord at some point about how to get just an AI player to stand still and not shoot you.
Yeah.
So it was all those little things. As soon as you pushed it a little bit, you started to see where those boundaries were and what was restricted. So I'm just taking over for a second, but
yeah, go right ahead. I'm listening.
I was going to say what was really wonderful was the fact that it was clear that the Portal team were listening at the time. So we would ask for things and say that this was a limitation, and there would be, in some cases, fixes or changes for that. So we obviously saw the icons come in, which is a kind of a point of were a really good idea. And the movable rush, the movable MCOMs, which of course you couldn't have done payload without. So it was really good to see them introducing these things as we went along.
Yeah, and I remember Mata putting out that video with all the separate icons, a few seconds apart, and then at the end all the audio stuff you could put in. I still use that video till this day, just to see what something looks like in game. So thanks for that, Mata. That was really helpful.
I don't remember, because the experience for showcasing it was made by someone, but I cannot remember who. I'm just the guy who put the video out, basically.
I will look it up. We'll put it in the show notes. Yeah.
If you're that guy, Matt says thanks.
Yeah, exactly.
Any specific limitations for you, Andy, that you were not so happy about with the Portal Builder?
I mean, there's quite a few, I'm not going to lie. But some of them did get fixed. I mean, the one that used to really, really get to me was like the teleportation bug, where a lot of the maps, you couldn't teleport people to like custom spawns. And eventually, like, absolute credit to the guys at the studio that had seen the report and dealt with it. Eventually, it did get sorted. There
was like a little side mission for you for a couple of months, or maybe even a year, keeping up with the new updates and checking for each map and each mode and each iteration of it.
Yeah,
if the teleportation was still bugged.
I'd written. I made a mode specifically for testing that. It was every single update, I would run it on every single map, on every single configuration, because one map might work, but it might work on the large version and not the small one, but it might work on Team Deathmatch or Conquest, but not on Rush or whatever. It was a bit all over the place, but yeah, it was every single update, and sometimes you'd find they fix one, but it would break another one. So, but programming's difficult.
Apparently.
I think the process. Yeah, I think the process of developing a mod is quite difficult as well when you don't have that transparency. Because even just the testing, and for a play tier for testing it like that, I mean, the iterating over something just takes it takes a long time because you've got to make your change, boot up the server, and on you go. And it was a frustrating experience, especially when you didn't really know what you were going to end up with when you.
A fun fact on that one was that the devs actually did ask for a copy of my experience on how I did the testing, so I just sent it over to
Really?
them. Yeah. So they can test themselves quite easily.
Still being used to this day. Yeah. That's funny.
I mean,
Didn't know that.
There was even sort of like just little things like we didn't have like squad based modes as an option because I think that would give a lot of freedom because I know that was asked a lot. Like even just things like custom objectives, like if we could move like conquest flags around, that would make a big difference. And I think probably one of the biggest limitation really is actually to do with the UI, which I think if that's been something they've been talking about for the next portal. So fingers crossed on that one.
Yeah, we're going to get to the UI in a bit, though. Mata, anything for you, particularly about the Portal Builder website that you were unhappy about?
Not really, because I couldn't really go up to the limits. The limits was my knowledge, basically, so yeah.
Well, you mentioned limits, and that's, of course, one of those things that you ran into with Payload, which didn't you make several versions of it, Andy?
Oh yeah,
because you hit the max block limit or something.
There was two things with that one. We actually discovered a bug, which was one of them, which was the bigger your mode, the longer it took to save with the server when you click that save button. When it got beyond, I think it was like 15 seconds, I can't remember, but once it got beyond that, it timed out. And eventually we were able to log it, submit it, and eventually that got fixed. So we found out the true size limit is 1,024 bytes.
1,024 bytes.
Yeah, and I the reason we know that is because we monitored it. And for Payload, obviously you've got that track, and we've got to store essentially each of the points. And we were having to narrow down, like actually removing letters from the names of the variables to try and save a few bytes to save it. I think we got, was it like 9 or 10 maps in total in one save? So that was quite an achievement in itself for us.
Trimming the portal fat, yeah.
It's literally, you cannot add any more blocks. We are at maximum capacity for that mode.
yeah, really pushing the envelope portal-wise.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so the website, the Portal website builder, and the blocks that they used, well, good for beginners with the visual scripting, but yeah, it did get messy. I mean, for Gunfight Royale, for instance, it has all these custom spawn locations and all these custom lists of weapons and gadgets and all that stuff, and places where the flag or the center of the invisible circle spawns, and navigating that is a hell. And I also felt that the website became real slow the more modes you had. So just dragging around the screen and finding the specific subroutine that I had to use. Yeah. Hellish.
Yeah, it was a problem. Just navigating the screen with that many blocks on was really difficult. And then you got to find where you put something. which is easy if it's in text, but when it's got a block that's halfway across the screen, it's really difficult.
Yeah, quite clunky.
Organisation was key.
Yeah. Yeah, indeed. All right, leaving that behind. Just moving on to content. Talking about maps, arsenals, battlefield eras. What did you like about it, Mata?
Honestly, I really love the BF3 and BF42 maps. Sorry, Bad Company 2 maps.
Yep.
Um,
So we're talking Erica Harbor. What else is there? Nasha Canals.
yeah, and
Caspian border.
Border. Yeah.
Caspian Border. And we're missing one, right? From Bad Company 2.
Uh,
Oh, lordy.
no, I don't. I can't remember. What? No, I think it.
What's the
I think
fourth
that's
one?
it.
There's Erica Harbour. There's that one. I'm trying to remember the name of it now. Valparaiso.
Oh, Valparaiso. Yeah.
Oh yeah, of course. Valparaiso. Yeah.
That's the one I played the less, I believe. But yeah, I really love these 3 maps. And I think the most time I played on Portal was on these maps. I
Yeah,
really,
same
really
here.
love them.
And also the guns and stuff from those eras, or
But they had the 2042 gunplay feeling, so it's not like it was really new. It was different from the main game, but not not that much. So
yeah, only visually, but gameplay wise, they felt well in line with 2042. Yeah.
yeah.
How about you, Pete? Were you content with the content in 2042's Portal maps, arsenals, eras?
Yeah, initially it was a good selection. I felt like, and it was really good to be able to play around with it. You could get close to that traditional experience if you wanted. I mean, what I did realize, again with that feeling of nostalgia and rose-colored glasses, was just how much open space there was on those really early maps. And I think
Definitely with the fog of war lifted now.
yeah, you can just see for miles across the map, and yeah, I think we take for granted just that modern maps, just how much work goes into making them as densely packed and as feature rich as they are. But yeah, it was a good kind of a mishmash selection. I'm sure everybody would have had their own favourite maps that they probably would have rather have appeared or whatever it might have been. But as a decent selection, I think the only letdown is, and if we're honest, is that there wasn't more that came through later on. And obviously, we don't know what the plans are for later on. But it would have been nice to have seen some more classic maps. I think we all would have liked to have seen them really explore that a bit. But it wasn't to be because, well, I guess 2042 didn't really deserve that kind of level of time and investment, I suppose. But it was a good selection. It gave us enough to play around with, didn't it? And to make these modes. So there was quite a chunk of content there. So yeah, it's good. It's good.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it was plenty to play around with, and yeah, of course, still fantasizing about what could have been. A map each season for one of these eras, for instance. But well, coulda, woulda, shoulda. Maybe in the next portal, we'll see.
Maybe.
How was it for you, Andy? The content, was there enough to play around with for you?
I think at launch there absolutely was. I think towards the end of life, he kind of got bored with the same 6 maps that you're kind of stuck with. But like Pete was saying, is that it would have been great if over time, maybe a season we would get one additional map from one of the eras or something like that. That would have been fantastic. And it would. I'm actually glad we did have that content in there, because I wasn't that much of a fan of sort of it being a hero shooter per se, rather than the classic class system, which for the most part, when I created a mode, I'll just default, right, Battlefield 3, I'm having my class system back. Boots on the ground, and that's what I loved. Yeah. So, yeah. But if it wasn't for Portal having that, I don't think I would have stuck around as much.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, agreed. And I'm excited about the new Portal, and it's probably just going to be BF6 Modern Combat, so we'll have to see how that pans out for us. But it's in a setting more aligned with BF3, so that's a good thing. Well, besides maps, it also had a lot of guns, of course, from the Bad Company 2 and the BF3 era. Not a whole lot, but they did cross over to 2042. Gadgets were limited, but enough to play around with. And, well, attachments were limited also, of course, but there was the bare minimum to really bring some variety to different modes. But, well, it could have been a whole lot more, though. Well, so be it.
Yeah, the content started, as you said. I was going to say the content started off. It got off to a good start, but it just didn't. The momentum wasn't there. It just didn't keep going. It's a bit disappointing.
Yeah, because I think there was only like a couple of weapons added over time, and then there was the night variant maps, which it was nice to see that being added, but some new maps themselves would have been good.
Yeah.
Battle of the Bulge got a night version, and help me out.
It's the big desert one.
Yeah.
A really big desert one.
That made an impact.
Is it Albazar, is it?
Nah.
El Alamein.
Yeah, that's
El
Alamein. Yeah.
Too late in the day.
All right, on to the next. We're talking UI, user interface. So what could you project on screen? Well, there were several options. What did you like about it, Annie?
I mean, again, this was kind of like one of these things. It was good at first. You know, you're getting used to how you print stuff on the screen, give instructions to the player. But once you kind of got once you had that, you're kind of going, well, I want more. I want to be able to maybe change the colours to attract the attention, you know, friend and foe sort of idea. So I think probably for the majority of modes, basic ones, where you're just giving information to the player, it was very good. And it's, again, with the icons, them being added into the UI element, that made a huge difference. You know, you could point out exactly where objectives would be or where weapon pickup could be.
Because most people do not read.
No,
don't like to read.
No, you even try doing little things like actually flashing the text on and off to try and like read me. But yeah, most people just aim down the sights of their gun and shoot. They don't care about the text at the sight.
How's it for you, Pete? Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say I thought it was functional, is what I would say. You very quickly hit a limit.
Mm-hmm.
So you started off thinking, as you said, Andy, you know, you're looking, you think, this is quite cool, I can do this, and then you think, actually, it would be better if I was able to do this. I mean, one of the things that kind of I grated a little bit about was the scoreboard, and they did quite a lot messing around with the scoreboard, I think, if I remember rightly, over the course of Portal. You know, if you've got a game mode that's based on points or a game mode that's based on kills or whatever it might be, and you just didn't have that fine tuning. There was some there was some weird things went on with that scoreboard where the wording was just really strange. Whatever mode you played in, and yeah, you're right. You know, colors. I don't know. It's just endless, isn't it? If you really wanted to get creative, you were stuck with a few message boxes and the scoreboard, and that was it.
Yeah.
So it's good to have that flexibility, and I think I saw some really creative uses of those the boxes to put messages on the screen and things like that, or maybe use them as a compass. and stuff like that. But yeah, people will find ways, I think, of doing things, but it would be nice if those were things were there in the first place.
Yeah, what you did with your version of domination with how do you call it? Like a ledger or on-screen information about how far it is controlled by you or by your team. Just the bar
Yes.
moving left and right. And I looked at your
Yeah.
code from from that mode, and it was just like all these little versions of it, just the bar moving a bit to the left and then
Yeah.
another bit to the left. It was just like
Yeah.
block after block after block of message codes, just to yeah, show
Yeah, but again,
people how far it's captured. Yeah.
there was from a programmer's point of view, we have this basic thing, concatenation, where you can join strings, text together, and they did implement that a little bit with 3, but sometimes you just want more. A lot of that code could have been tidied up a lot better if there was more flexibility there. I did a compass as well once with the same technique, because once I discovered I could do it that way, the world was my oyster. I could have all kinds of things going on. Lots
How
of
was it for
text
you?
boxes. That's what you need.
How was it for you, Mata, with the UI? What did you like about it? What were the limitations for you?
I would say pretty much the same as Andy and Pete, but I think what was the thing I would have wanted the most is in interactable menu, something people can click on instead of crouching and then jumping and
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Oh god. Yeah.
the crouching select menu. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think some kind of how do you call that? The wheel menu, the
Yeah,
Comoros. Yeah,
Comoros, yeah.
something like this could work pretty well, I guess. Yeah,
No,
that's
I
the
think they
thing I
did
would like
confirm for
the most.
the new portal that it will have a lot more UI options, so I'm quite happy about that. Just not being able to not only put text on screen, but also maybe some sort of graphics to indicate scores or whatever.
Yeah,
A better buy menu. Yeah, I remember quite an early mode. I'm not sure who built it, but it was like a CS:GO version, and they made that lovely weird jump to cycle through the menu and hold or go prone to buy something. So yeah, I really liked how people got creative with it, but yeah, I wish there was an easier option just to convey information to the player.
I think the problem with those kind of fixes, they're genius. It was incredible what I think there was a mega menu mode on your BF Portal website and things like that, and it was amazing what people came up with. But it doesn't make a slick mode. That's the problem. So if you want people to play mode, which is really what we do it for, you want it to be a little bit more professional, I guess, than jump
Yeah.
to move up one menu and crouch to move down.
Yeah, most people unfortunately drop in, well, read or mostly don't read the text on screen and well are confused quite quickly or and leave. So yeah, the UI really makes a big difference. Moving on to another section, not UI but AI or the bots. Well, great addition to Portal, right, Marta?
yeah, we were able to make the BFZ 42 mode.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
big
it
one.
was. Yeah. Pete the Bull was the coder for it. It was really nice, but again, limitations of AI, and we could be one shot. I mean, knifed by the AI or executed. So yeah,
Yeah.
zombies, but also AI bots. So
Yeah, there was no way to get that out in any way that I found. Also in Gunfight Royale, when we teleport, all the players to a different location. And shout out to Dirty Breaks, by the way, for helping me with that part of the code. There's still a bug in there sometimes that when a bot teleports next to you, it just knifes you straight away, and we can't get that one out. So a bit more control on that part would be great. Don't you agree, Pete?
Yeah, the AI were a great addition. If you think about the kind of mods, if you did have more control over the AI, the kind of mods that you could do, I mean, it'd be
I'm
incredible,
ready.
wouldn't it?
I'm ready.
Yeah. But the AI bots in 2042 a little bit dumb, really. That was the.
What
I mean,
could they do though?
What could they do?
They could
Shoot, throw
attack an
grenades,
objective, right?
attack an objective. Yeah. That would be perhaps about it. And like I said, we're talking about the AI. What was interesting, Andy, was your solution to making the AI do what you wanted them to do, which was have a moving objective. We want you to go this way. So that was genius. But the AI really didn't want to do anything much, really. But stop. I mean, the world. Yeah. Options are incredible if you can have more control over the AI.
Yeah, 100%. There was because with the AI, they were fantastic to have, and especially like even when you're just in the testing phases of making your modes, just being able to have AI around to even try and test things with makes a big difference.
Yeah,
and well, not only that, it helps you run a server in the first place. You know, you're waiting on people to join, and you know what it's like to try and get people to join in the first place. The AI at least allow you to play your mode while you're waiting for folk to join. But yeah, some of the jankiness, and I mean, I found that they like to. Well, again, that was another bug where sometimes they would attack MCOMs and they wouldn't attack if they were on the other team. It was a bit weird, but I found that if you got an MCOM stuck at 1,000 meters below or above the ground, above where you want them to go, they will go to that location. So I mean, that was one.
Yeah, I remember this phase. Yeah.
I think it still works to this day, but you stick it like 1,000 meters below and above to try and get the icon out of the player's view.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to being able to set certain conditions and certain effects. Right now, in the 2042 version of Portal, well, they did attack MCOMs, they did attack objectives, but for instance, when we made the frontline mode, you'll have that central moving objective, but we also had two adjacent objectives, which served as the basically the Russian and the American HQ or spawn points. We also had to make those objectives active, and the AI could not decide or didn't know that they had to go to the central active objective, and we put, of course, an icon on top of it and text, attack this objective. But the AI would go to any one of those three active capture points or objectives and are basically just all over the place. And just a bit too rudimentary. I'm glad they were there, but that's one of those areas in Portal that they could really improve on, especially with custom scripting for these bots. Good times ahead, I guess.
Yeah.
Getting people to join your mode, you were just saying, Andy, which brings us to the Portal browser, or the visibility of modes in game. We got swamped basically, I guess, in XP servers and hardcore stuff. I found it really hard to make modes visible. How is it for you?
Yeah, it was very, very difficult. Like you say, it's just swamped with XP booster servers and hardcore only, and yeah, you never really got to see custom modes. And even then, trying to if someone wanted to share their experience there was nowhere within the game to show off your experience at all. You just had to look at the server browser, and because they were swamped in any case, you were never going to find custom unique modes that people had made, which is a shame.
Yeah, for instance, when we did all those Portal Showcase events, people had to manually, specifically search for the mode in the browser, and then they could find it. But it's naturally scrolling through it, and a chance to kind of find it. Yeah,
and so like the only way anyone was going to know about those events was if you're part of the community and you had your notifications turned on. So very, very limited.
Like a vicious cycle in that way.
Yeah.
There were a number of factors that played into that, though, as well, weren't there? Because 2042 wasn't popular enough, of course.
No.
So the players just weren't there. But a lot of us made these modes to be played.
Yeah.
You want in some cases they take a long time to do and are carefully refined, and it is very deflating, I think, for people when they put all that effort in not to get just a little bit of visibility, or at least have some way of saying, hold on a minute, this mod is actually worth playing, and you're really going to enjoy this experience, and introducing people to those new things. And I think they dropped the ball a little bit on that. I wouldn't say as a first draft, it was really good, but it's good to see that they've looked at that again. So I'd be interested to see what comes out of that, because nobody wants to spend a month writing an absolutely pristine, brilliant game mode only to have it played by one person, a bunch of bots.
Not me, at least.
It was interesting you said about the bots filling the game mode, because they were brilliant for that. At least we could get a server started.
I think the only mode at least the only mode I was able to find naturally, if I can say it like that, was the infected modes at launch. But other than that, I never found any cool game mode to play. It was always XP farms.
Yeah, indeed, and that created this image of Portal of a really bland part of Battlefield, I guess, in which nothing exciting or creative happens. But luckily there was the website that filled in that part a bit to promote good modes, and hopefully we can also do a better job in the next Portal and of showcasing all these cool creators and their cool modes.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, of course, the game's one part of it, but we have a bit of a responsibility as the community, I think, and to kind of push these mods forward as well, and promote them. And I know you tried that a little bit with the showcase. So maybe when there's more players there and there's more visibility, these things will come about naturally through the game and through the community, maybe.
And get some YouTubers on board, who were they were. Well, not eager, that's a big word, but I was glad that some bigger YouTubers did join us on some of these showcase events, and that also really helps putting these modes out there and showcasing them to a wider audience. For me, I'm hoping for something in-game, not to undermine the website, of course, but something in-game in which you can...
It needs to be in-game, honestly. The library thing needs to be in-game. It's better for the community anyway, so yeah.
True. Yeah, in a way in which you can favorite modes and follow creators, and a way to maybe filter community-created modes and also sort them by most liked or most favorited this week or this month or all time. So those modes that, well, the community likes really pop up out of the hellish landscape that is the server XP 1,000 tickets, whatever server stuff they got going on at the moment. Well, Well, we'll see what happens. Tied to that is our last part, which is XP and progression in Portal. For me, it felt that when those server farms started popping up, that's when DICE also or Ripple Effect or whoever also decided that we need to restrict the XP cap. What are your thoughts on that?
I think as much as I don't like the limitation on XP, it was kind of needed, really.
Sad but true.
Yeah, because I remember one of the first matches I joined in Portal. I thought it was just a normal server. What the guy was doing, he was just teleporting everybody to one position and just shooting them on the spot and racking up those kills. And you were getting people getting to like stupid levels.
That sounds like the most evil Portal server I've ever heard of.
Oh yeah, it was on Valparaiso as well. I remember that. Whoever you are out there, you ruined it. You ruined Battlefield.
Shame on you. Shame on you.
But yeah, the sad truth is that there had to be some kind of restriction. Otherwise, even at the moment where you've got these XP servers, they're still limiting it in the background. They're obviously seeing how much people are earning and going, no, can't have that. Yeah. But at the same time, it then has that problem of then people go, well, what's the point in playing Portal if I'm not going to get XP? If I can't unlock I can't do the weekly missions, I can't get ribbons, and I can't unlock my weapons.
Yeah, it had to be done, I guess. Yeah, agreed. Sad but true. Yeah. We'll see what they come up with for the next version of Portal regarding progression. Yeah, they have to sell their skins, of course, which I get, but hopefully they can find a better middle ground. Because it does undermine Portal modes as well when people who, well, for me, yeah, I'm also attracted to the battle pass grind a bit, of course, because I have a human brain and we're wired like that. But mostly I just play for the sake of playing it by itself. And but when we're all wired like that and the XP is limited, yeah, of course it hurts the Portal mode and the community. So I'm hoping for a better middle ground in the next one. Anything else about it? About XP or progression?
Well, I was going to say, the reality is we're going to get XP farming in the next one as well, because it's just the natural thing, I think, that people do. As you say, it's just a shame that those servers swamped people out. But it was a limitation as well. I'm hoping that the solution that they're going to come up with is appealing enough to players to convince them to come and play in Portal where they may have not done before. I mean, I have had people say to me, why would I play in Portal? If you get 2 hours a night and you're grinding that XP or that battle pass, and all of a sudden you're not going to get the same quantity of XP out of Portal, then you're not going to play Portal, are you? So I do think that it needs, whatever decision they come to and whichever the way they work, it has to be it has to protect them, I guess, as you say, and their battle pass and their skins and their grind, but it also has to be appealing enough for people to want to play your mods.
Yeah, so I guess we're just gonna have to make even cooler modes, so people will be attracted to it anyway.
Yeah.
XP progression, visibility of the modes in game in the Portal browser, AI, UI, content, the blocks and the builder website. Looking back on Portal 2042, anything I'm missing? Anything we should add about this retrospective? Anything you guys want to add?
Well, I mean, I would add that there was a feeling for a while that this was just one big experiment from them. I mean, it would have been an expensive experiment, I guess, but we got this huge AAA title, all of a sudden giving us control that they've never given us before over aspects of the game through the Portal site and the blocks. And I know that there are other game titles out there that do similar things. And it would have been a shame if it had come to an end. And what's really exciting for me is that talking about all these limits and everything else, that rather than just go, that's it, we're done. We can't do this, or it's not going to function, it's not going to work. They've actually gone away and thought about it, and fingers crossed, going to deliver something that expands on it and gives us what hopefully we thought the original Portal was going to deliver. So for me, Portal was just a stepping stone really towards what hopefully we're going to get, which is well a real revolution, I think. Hopefully.
Yeah. You guys were on the inside, of course, but I was skeptic for a bit. How about you, Andy? Were you always positive and that a new Portal would appear?
I was hoping there would be. I mean, as harsh as it might have sounded at some points of this, is that despite everything, I've really enjoyed Portal, and considering this is the first time that DICE and Ripple Effect have ever done anything like this, and I would definitely say overall it's been a very big success. It's just a shame that there wasn't the player numbers to retain the interest for the overall game. I think there might have been a bit more investment, but I'd like to think that based on, from what we've seen with the trailers and that they've taken the feedback and they've gone, right, rather than invest it all in, making this the ultimate Portal, let's go away, build it from the ground up, and then go from there with it. So I'm hoping that what we'll get in the future will be based on everything that's been learnt from this.
How about you, Mata? You were on the inside, of course. Were you ever in doubt about a new Portal before you got contacted?
Yeah, because didn't get the player number it deserved and the kind of mode it deserved. I mean, there was a lot of really good modes, but not really played, unfortunately, or at least not as much as we would have liked. But I was not sure it will happen again. But I mean, if you look at 2042 Portal, you could just look at it and say, why stop there? It's really very close to be something really great. So it didn't need that much to be a lot more. So having it on BF6 with a completely new game, new content, we've seen the special editor. This is a lot of what we hoped for, and I'm pretty sure there will be some limitations again, but it's a lot more than we had, so hopefully it will be great.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm loving all your positive outlooks. I'm feeling it as well. And probably there are going to be some limitations at launch, but looking back and seeing at the way they supported Portal, even through a rough cycle of 2042, man, good times ahead. I'm looking forward to it. Little less than a month left, so October's going to be great. I'm looking forward to it, and I'm quitting my job, I guess, and going full-time Portal. I'm all right.
Why not?
Why not? What do I have to lose? Yeah. All right. Thanks so much, guys, and thanks everybody for listening to this first edition of the Battlefield Portalcast. And join us next time on this lovely podcast with these wonderful people. Check out bfportal.gg for all cool, classic, weird, or whatever game modes from Portal 2042, and in the near future from the new Portal as well. And also check out our Discord. Come out, hang out, and there's a lot of beautiful people there. willing to help out with all sorts of Portal problems or talk about different stuff. So we'll see you there. See you next time. And that's a wrap for today's episode of the Portalcast. Battlefield Portal is all about creativity, experimentation, and community, and we want to hear from you. Visit the website over at bfportal.gg and join the conversation with us on our Discord. We are at bf_portal_hub on X and on YouTube, and don't forget to share your favorite Portal modes, mods, and moments. Who knows, we might feature them in an upcoming episode. If you enjoyed the show, hit that follow or subscribe button and share it with your squad. Until next time, keep building, keep experimenting, and we'll see you on the battlefield.